Hello and welcome to today's session. My name is Paul Asiteke and I'll be taking you through HTML forms. Without wasting time, let's get to understand what HTML forms are and how they operate. So basically, HTML forms are intermediaries between the user and the server. They take information from the user and then send it to the server for processing. For example, say um, we have this interface here. Now, what happens is that when you let's move to the next picture. Let me explain it better. Okay, so what happens is that when you fill the form, this is our HTML. When you visit the website, a request is sent to the server. The server responds to the request with a form for you to fill. That's the HTML form, or the, let's say for example, the login form. Now when the login form appears, you input your data. When after inputting your data, that is your password and your username, you click the submit button. After clicking the submit button, what happens is that the JavaScript runs a check on what you have submitted to make sure that there is no error. Then if there is no error, it sends it back. That's called validation. So if there's no error and the whatever you've kept there is valid, it sends it back to the web server for processing. After processing, the web server responds again. There's a response which is brought back to the screen. The feedback is brought back to the screen. Either um, your login will be successful or you'll be denied access based on the processing that goes on. So if your credentials tell you what the server has, then you have a login. Else, um, you would not be allowed to log in. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get to building HTML forms. Okay, so we have here our HTML code already. I created a file already, so we can start right away in the body. So the first thing you need to do is to open your form tag. That's in creating forms, you need to open this form tag. Everything else goes into the form tag. Now, let's say we are working on something similar to a registration form. So we'll request for the name of the person being registered. So to do that, we have to first of all have a label. Okay. So we use the label tag for that. Um, label, okay, for name. Then we have name. Okay. Then colon. Sorry. Name, then colon. Okay. Now we save this and we see it. We've had our label now. Now beneath this label, we want to have um, an input field that will accept the name of the user. So let's first of all create a break line to move beneath it. Break line. Okay. The BR tag has no closing tag. So we have input. The input tag also has no closing tag. Now we use input, then we use input for all kinds of input fields. Okay, any kind of input field you use input, but we state the type of input. Okay, so here we need something to accept text, so we choose type text. Okay, so input type, and we specify the type. We specify the type as text. Then we close it. We save, and then we have our box there to receive the name of the person. Now let's try to receive the age of the person. So again, we'll do BR to move to the next line. Then we have a label, and then label for, let's make it age since we are taking a number, age. Okay, so like this, and then we have BR. So we save, we have age, and we have BR. We are moving to the next line. So in the next line, we would add, let's say, okay. So now we need an input to receive the age. We need input, an input field to receive the age. Now, this time the type will not be text, to be a number. A number. Okay. So this time we specify the type as a number, and then we save it. And we have the age here. We can increase the number, reduce the number. We can also type the number, but we can't type any other thing inside here, only numbers. Okay. So that's how we create numbers. So we just use the input tag for all kinds of inputs. Let's try our hands again on passwords. Okay. So we have BR, and then label for password. Okay. And we have input type password, and voila, we save. We have this. Okay, we didn't do a BR, we want it to appear beneath it. So BR, okay, then we save. Voila, we have this. Okay, type the password. Okay, so basically most of the inputs will just be using these same things, just changing the type. The type is what we'll be changing to get what we want. So let's try something quite different. Let's try out a radio button. So we want to know the gender, okay, of the person. Okay, so here let's make it set password. Set password. Now we want to know the gender of the person, ask for the gender of the person. So the first thing is we would create a label requesting for the gender. Okay, asking, no, not just like written, what is your gender? Then we'll now create the radio buttons. So BR, then we have a label for sex. Let's make it gender. Then we have what is your gender. Okay, now here, this time we will not have, this is just a general question. Now we have to have a radio button, then male, then a radio button, then female. Okay, so the radio button is coming first, so we'll have an input type. Okay, and we have radio. Okay, then we close it. No, we don't, we just all right, I hope you get what I'm saying. So input type radio. Then the next thing is a label. Enter BR, sorry, BR. No, we don't break line. It's supposed to be beside it. So we have a label male. Then we now have a BR here because we want to move to the next line. A BR. Okay. Then we have another input. That's for the female one. Input type radio. Okay. Then the label, sorry, label female. Okay. Now we save this. Okay. Never. Okay, where this is wrong, so we want to bring it down. Here. Okay. So we'll put a BR here. Okay. Now we save. What did I do? No, we kept the BR at the wrong place. Okay. The BR is supposed to be after the what is your gender here. So BR. Okay. Now we save and we have what is your gender, male or female. You can't select the two of them. But here is the case when we click male and we click female, we have the two of them being selected. This is something unique. The reason why the two of them are being selected is that the browser is understanding these two radio buttons, that's the male radio button, the female radio button, as separate radio buttons, and they are not linked in any way. Now, if my sister and I are walking outside in town, people see us as two totally separate individuals. But once we mention our names, they realize that we belong to the same family. And it's the same thing here. We'll have to name these radio buttons so that the browser will know that they belong to each other. They are linked in some way. And when one is selected, the other cannot be selected. So we give a name to the radio button here, a name. Let's say sex. And we have another name. So the name must be the same so that the browser will know that they belong to each other, sex, or they are linked in some way. So we save and then we come back and try it again. We have our radio button working now. So we've dealt with text, numbers, passwords, radio buttons. Let's try out a checkbox. Okay, let's try out checkbox. Checkbox is also just like the radio button. We have so for the checkbox, let's do a BR and come down. BR and let's do a checkbox input type. So let's clean all this. And here will be checkbox and name, let's say colors. Okay, then we have, before this, let's have a label saying input your favorite colors. Label for colors. Okay, so favorite color. Okay, now we have here the type checkbox name colors. Okay, so now we have, let's put a BR in between this. Okay, all right, then we have enter red, label red, then we have red. So we save and we have this. So we can do this a number of times and then we have them repeating.